Hey, internet. So, sorry, it's a mess. My tech disc thing and stacks of discs because I got to play around. So I had to redo my bag because that's how that works. Okay, so I was just doing a video for Kalen, and he said that one of the things I went over felt really useful to him. So I'm just gonna transplant that here with a little more polish for the internet. Okay, so the first thing was reach back and elbow orientation. It's really easy when we're here at 90 degrees to have the elbow oriented the way that we want. Once we get into your reach back position, all of a sudden, for some reason, it becomes really difficult. And it's now we're not here anymore. Well, we are here. We're not where we wanted to be. Where we wanted to be was here. So what's happening? When I get here, humans want to externally rotate the shoulder as they reach out. So if I go to here, this is where my hand's going to go. My hand isn't going to want to be here because there's more tension. I feel tension here, and you could feel some here. So when we get to this position, we tend to want to supinate, which makes sense because baseball is here. If I take baseball and I do it backwards, I'm going to roll my shoulder. It's, again, what we're concerned about is shoulder rotation. It's really easy to look at this and say, okay, well, my elbow's in the wrong spot. Why is your elbow in the wrong spot? Your elbow's in the wrong spot because your shoulder rotated. This whole bone has to rotate. That comes from this joint. That's the part that we don't really get and that we're not aware of on average. And the thing to be aware of is when I go to here, I'm going to tend to go into that external shoulder rotation. So shoulder rotation stuff gets very complicated very quickly. I was working with a friend here locally, and he's, we're worrying about this. We're worrying about keeping keeping the disc plate on the shoulder plane the whole time, just as a training wheels thing to develop a good hip point. And he was really struggling with that because he's setting up on a hyzer, but he's holding the disc flat. And then when he gets to his reach back, stuff happens. And what we figured out was he actually needed to go into more external shoulder rotation to keep the disc on his intended release angle the whole time. So there's an adjustment happening from here to here. There can be an adjustment that happens at peak reach back. Then there can be another adjustment. So here in the reach back, we might want to be in more external shoulder rotation. You might also want to keep it in internal, depends. But as you come through this position, you're going to want to be in internal shoulder rotation. External, internal. Here you want to be internal. And then as you get to the hit, you don't necessarily want to stay in internal. You do want to roll into external again. So it can get very complicated. Here we want to be internal to keep the elbow up. Here we want to be a little bit external to keep the elbow safe so we're not going to potentially hyperextend the elbow. Here it can go either way. Seabass has a video about being here versus being here. This is internal rotation. This is more external rotation. They both can work. They're just different. So I have a way of thinking about the swing plane now and keeping swing plane integrity, that we don't want any part of your body to be making any movement during your swing plane because it wants to without your explicit permission. So if you're not aware that I'm setting up here, then I'm go to my reach back position and everything's the same, but it's not the same. So you need to be aware of that difference and understand why your body tends to do that. If you want to allow your body to do that or not, if there's a mobility issue, you might want to allow it. If there isn't, you might want to keep it a certain way to control the variable. So it just depends. So what do we do about this? We put our hand out here, so 90 degrees to your shoulders. This is what we want. What we don't want is that. So we try to build an awareness of this is what I don't want. So then I'm going to change that without changing my hand. Can I change everything else. Now it's right. Now it's wrong. Right, wrong. So you probably can't even see. So you want to develop sensitivity and awareness of like, this is right. So, like, get a plastic drinking straw, tape it to the inside of your elbow. Here's what we want. There's what we don't want. And it's not the wrist that does it. It's the shoulder that does it. So I can keep my hand in this orientation. Here, correct elbow bend. Here, incorrect elbow bend. So my hand doesn't have to change, but my shoulder and my elbow will change. So just see if you can do that. Like, it's kind of hard for me, but I can do it. So play with that. And the way to check it is set up here. This is correct. And then change it. That's not correct. So then see if you can leave your hand in the same position and go between the two options and see how changing the elbow comes from the shoulder. So that's the first level up. Second level up is, well, let's see. Do you need more context there? Not really. But I'm doing this thing now where I try, like, this is training wheels mode. So here I am keeping intentionally this, and this all on the same plane that my shoulders are on. That is a simplified version of what most pros tend to do. So I'm making this simple so that I can develop a good hit point and not have the flight plate of the disc do things during my throw. I just want it to stay the same place so that I can learn to control my nose and control my wobble. Once I can do that, then I can say, okay, well, Calvin is the coolest, so I'm going to start trying to learn how to throw like Calvin, but I'm going to keep from here to here consistent so that this reach back doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want as long as I come through this point and this point. I know I'm going to have a clean release with no wobble with good power. So first we're building in the consistency, and then later we can do things to optimize for looking cool or having a more biomechanically advantageous position where here there's less tension because I'm suitcasing, and then I can get better lat activation if I'm pulling through under my pecs instead of up on my shoulder level. So it's a progression. We're starting with a simplified environment, and once you've learned what that simplified environment is trying to teach you, good timing and a good hit point, then we can move away from the rigid boundaries of that structure and go to something more biomechanically efficient if your body wants to. My experience is once you get the basics drilled in, then you can just kind of relax a little bit and your body will take over and start to make things more efficient for your body, being less concerned about the rigid, parts of the drill. Okay, so that's that issue. Okay, so if you like this style of coaching where we're really focused on mechanics and understanding what's happening and why, and how you might want to change that to produce a desired result in your throw, please go check out the Patreon. There's 3 different tiers on there, starting at $50, going up to $175. That basically get you 1, 2, or 4 full 20-minute recorded reviews that you can use at any point during the month. So the higher tiers, $100 and $175, both get you access to a video call if you want to do that, or kind of whatever you want. It's just a ballpark of like how much of my time you're paying for. So the videos that I did for Kalen were somewhat representative of what the $175 tier would look like. And there's nobody there yet. So if you want to be the first one, you will get special treatment as much as I am able. In terms of, I will make sure that I spend enough time with you that you feel like you're getting value out of how much you've spent. Which, the same is true of the $50 tier too. So if that's more accessible to you, go check it out. But if the way that I'm coaching resonates with you at all, I think you would get a lot out of my style of coaching and being on Patreon. And I really enjoy working with folks on there. It's a lot of fun. And I'm making a little bit of a push now to try and do a little bit more coaching and a little bit less day job. So if you're interested, now's the time. Go check it out. All right. Well, let's stop there, Internet. Go check out part 2 for the next half. See ya.